Hello, welcome to the Media Things. I am your host, John. Today, here I have Madman96. He is a friend of mine. He is a semi pro in Counter Strike. Just a rundown on the topics today. He's going to introduce himself, and then we're going to talk about how to get into the gaming scene, the competitive gaming scene, um, the mentality that you're going to need, and some questions about timing, about like when do you think is the right time to get into it. Then we're going to give him my good old quiz on a game of his choice. In this case, it was Counter Strike Global Offensive. And then after that, we'll take a short break and we'll go dive into how COVID has affected that particular scene. And then maybe we'll go over points about how to get into the pro game scene, um, and other details like that. Once again, welcome to the Media Things. We'll
See
be right back.
it in the little things that you're doing, so beautifully clueless. I get lost inside a moment with you. It's unfair how you're so unaware of what you do to me. Such a
Right. And I think that's very important. When you see a lot of low tier, I mean, then again, I myself was a low tier pro. When a lot of people scrim, I see a lot of youngins or fresh people on the scene start to scrim and brag that they won their scrim. But at the end of the day, I ask them, do you realize what you're lacking? Even on a win, right? Even when you win a scrim, let's quote unquote put that word win around the scrim, there's still ways to refine your gameplay, right?
Exactly. Like you should be going. We call it VOD review.
Right,
It's
right.
watching the recordings of your gameplay, your teammates, the enemy team, everything. You should always be VOD reviewing, whether it's your games, whether it's another game, whether it's a pro league match, whether it's someone playing your position. I learned how to play my position by watching other pros that are much more
What
successful
is your
than me play
position
the
in
same
Counter Strike?
position. Well, for the last three seasons, it was support. I did play support.
Okay.
I just got switched on to op.
Oh
Um,
yeah, you did tell
Main
me about
reason
that.
we lost our main opper due to team reasons. He decided to leave the organization, so I switched. I was put on main op. We tried it a few times. It's working out okay, but I'm still putting work into it. But before, based on a lot of the positions I played, I used to watch different players depending on the map because like different teams like to set up their strats differently.
Hmm.
But now I'm watching a lot of operas. Now I'm watching and not the flashiest of operas. I'm not talking about like simple or whatnot, but I mean like operas that are more
Position
calm,
based.
concise, but position and consistent, like Device, like your juniors, like stuff. People that operas that
Device
are
Guardian would probably be
very
another one I'd put into
exactly,
there.
exactly,
Ska
like operas
back
that
in
are
the day.
very, very consistent
Hmm.
but not like the most flashy. Because I mean, right now I'm just starting out. I've been opping since I've started playing the game, but I mean, I'm just starting to op in a competitive sense, and so I don't have
Right.
the confidence nor the game sense to just pull off crazy flashy plays like the top tier stars would.
Right. I think that's another important thing to point out, mentality wise. So let's list what we've gone so far for the correct mentality into success in esports. Number one, you need to have that competitive yearning. If you're not competitive, well, why you're in there, right?
Exactly.
What would be next? The second one would be wanting to improve and not seeking to win when wanting to improve, right? That humbling feeling will bring you a long way. Just learning from every little bit. In Counter Strike specifically, if you got flashbanged and you don't know about the flash, you're humble. You say, I didn't know that one. You're gonna go look it up in a VOD review, right? You'll
Exactly.
learn from the best. Smokes, nades, flashes, all of those things can tip a fight in your favor. It's worth learning.
Exactly. Like even in a game, sometimes because chat is open. I mean, if you're watching a live stream, you probably
Mm-hmm.
can't see the chat. But the players and everything, the chat's open. We can talk to both teams can talk to each other in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times like you'll throw a flashbang that they never saw before, that never saw coming, they'll be full white. When they die in dead chat, they'll be like, hey, nice flash, man. Like
Right.
stuff like
Right.
that. Where like it's like it hurts because it killed you, but at the same time, everyone there and like has a love for the game that allows them to admire plays that even their enemy team is making.
That's another important one. You gotta love your game. That's tactical 5v5 basics. It doesn't matter. That applies to R6, CS, Valorant. You give up space, you take space. And it's the role of the entry fragger, even if the entry fragger doesn't manage to get a kill. If he trades his life out for the trade with the second fragger, he's done his job. The moment two teammates step on the site, he's done his job. To go through the first smoke, to be the first point of contact is his job, no matter what. And that's one of
Exactly.
the hardest jobs to commit to, especially in CS, where everyone has the exact same kit. So anyone, if you look at it that way, right, on paper, anyone can be the entry fragger. It's just a matter of who is willing to take up that mantle. Same thing with
Exactly.
support. Same thing with support. You put in hours and hours to learn this is the perfect timing for my teammate. I'm going to flash perfect timing with him so the enemies are blind. This is the perfect timing for this nade. This is the perfect lineup for this smoke, right? All of those
Another
things, man.
another player that I want to talk about that people don't really understand and call him like selfish, a selfish player a lot, and it's going to be a really big name. Simple. Simple is one of the most unselfish, not baity players you will ever see in CS:GO. Period.
Hmm.
End of subject. He
Explain.
is the star. He is a star everything, right? He's a star rifler, star opper, great knowledge of the game,
His game
stupid
sense
amount
is
of
out the
dedication,
roof, man.
out the world, right? But
Right.
he is always, 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 always willing to throw utility for teammates, willing to be the entry fragger, willing to run out and get a pick first,
That's a
willing to do
scary
these
player right
things,
there, man.
and he's willing to do anything it takes to get his team to victory. And that's in a pug, and that's the same in his if to have the same mindset in a professional as he does as a pug player is insane. I can't do that.
That
A
takes
lot
a
of times
lot
in
of
the
energy,
pugs,
man.
exactly. I don't want to be a support in a pug. That's not fun. I'm playing a pug for fun. What? Why would I do that, right? But he is willing to play any role necessary. A lot of people think that he loves opping. He wants to play an op. That's why Guardian got dropped. Guardian got dropped because he's poor performance. Honestly, I don't think Simple wanted to op. That's why a big reason why they picked up Guardian in the first place once he left FaZe. But because he wasn't performing, Simple ended up picking the op back again, and Guardian ended up getting dropped.
Right.
Another example is like if you watch FPL,
Right.
and this is a big thing in FPL is like, oh, Simple is like a great opper. Simple is a fantastic peerless rifler. There are very few riflers that are in the same category as him. And I think he
Right.
enjoys rifling. So much so that you see a lot of players in FPL that aren't that great rifling, but are fantastic oppers, pro level oppers, semi pro level oppers. He is always willing to drop the op on the team and rifle, and they can op because he'll know that they'll perform better as a op. Even if he might be a better opper than them statistically, he know that they as a player individually will perform better for the team if they're opping and not rifling. While he doesn't lose that much efficiency if he switches to the rifle. That's a mindset that not everyone can think about in a pickup game,
That's
let
right.
alone in professional play.
You're right.
And that's why I say that all these people, they all have the same thing in common. They really have an obsession with both competition and with the game they play itself. You can't have that many hours dedicated to a game and not, no matter how much we say we hate it, because I feel like every CS player says it all the time, I hate this fucking game.
Right.
We don't actually hate it. We that's how much we love the game that we can say we hate it and keep playing
And
it.
keep playing it for hours and
Hours.
hours and hours and still be okay with it.
And that's something that if you can't do that, if you can't go through the bad to experience the good, then you can't be a pro.
Well, there we go. That's Madman's thoughts. Thank you so much for listening to far. We're gonna go ahead and take a break, and then we're gonna give Madman here his quiz. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Such a crazy thing how you have the answers without knowing. 'Cause your simplicity is like my medicine. You're my best friend. 'Cause you love life, but you don't even know it yet.
Welcome back to the Media Things. I am John, joined by Madman, and we are gonna start this Counter-Strike Global Offensive Quiz CS:GO. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, this is a game deep in my heart. I spent more than 7K hours on this game, so I know this game inside out, and I hope you do
Shockingly, you
too.
have more hours than me.
A lot of those are probably AFK hours, but a lot of those hours were spent trying to improve myself. All right, so let's start. Let's see if you can beat added score. Added score is pretty good.
All
All
right,
right,
all right, all right.
here we go. Let's get serious. So, I have the questions posted in the quiz channel. I'll be displaying some pictures if needed on screen for our audience. Let's start.
All right.
Question 1. Doo-dum. The spot now known as Coffins on the map Inferno used to be called
Uh,
what?
I'll have no idea. I've never played Old Inferno. I've seen highlights of it, like that crazy the crazy D ground from the King of Banana, but I've actually never played Old Inferno. I couldn't tell you. Like I said,
I'll give you 10 seconds. Try and guess it out. It's Coffins now, but what was it used to be called?
what is it used to be called?
What was it used to be called? Right.
Um, Backhauls?
Is that your final answer? And
No. Yeah, no, I can't think of anything. Yeah, sure.
the answer is spools. That used to be called spools.
It used to be spools. Oh, that's
Mhm.
wild. Okay.
It used to be
Like,
called spools. Just like
Yeah,
how
that's
the barrels
train.
atop banana used to be called car.
I did know car because it's still the call out. Actually, it's still car. But yeah, I've never played Old Banana. I mean, I've never played Old Inferno. I've seen highlights of it, but I've actually never touched Old Inferno.
You're
Um,
vibing. Well, there goes
Also,
your perfect
Infernos
score.
are auto ban on my team, so I'm not very good at it either.
All right, that's fine. So that's question 1. You got that one wrong. Let's move over to question 2. Da-dun. I'm going to show you a picture. Take a look at the quiz channel chat. This spot on Mirage is named after what CSGO professional?
Oh, get right.
That is correct. That spot is on short B of Mirage B site. That spot is actually like, if you're really going to call it, you'd call that like pillar. But the legendary player Get Right got his own spot here.
Yes, and if you're smoking, because there's smokes to smoke, get right. There's another arch, and that was named Get Left for the smoke.
I did not know
Random.
that.
Yes, random trivia.
There you go. All right. So that's one question down. Question 3. Da-dun. CSGO has a lot of weapons. You have your melee, pistols, grenades, sniper rifles, shotguns, and rifles. Let's look at the pistols really quick. Which pistol pulls out the slowest?
Which pistol pulls out the slowest? I would have to say the CZ.
That is your final answer?
Yes, yes.
You are correct. That is the correct answer. Just for laughs and giggles, can you guess what the second slowest one was?
That's hard to say, actually. Like, I've never actually
Right.
timed it. It would
Right.
have to be either the Tech 9 or the Deagle, I would assume.
The Glock.
It's not. It's the Glock.
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was either the Glock or the R8.
It's Glock is one of those weird ones because, I mean, I've never played with the R8 except for, like, memeing in 1v1 servers.
Right.
But the Glock is weird, and the USP also, because it's like, you don't think about pulling it out. Like, right? Like, like, the CZ is, like, one of those ones where it's like, or, like, the Desert Eagle is, like, one of those ones where you buy them so often. Even the P250.
right.
You buy them so often, even, like, as a secondary.
right.
Or the 5.7 again.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, your pull-out times actually, like, you think about that. You're conscious of it. The Glock's just always there. And no point in time am I ever, like,
Willingly
thinking
pulling
about
it
the
out.
Glock. Yeah, like, if I have to
Right.
pull out the Glock, I'm having a bad fucking day. Like, it's
All right. Let's move over to question number 4. This one is going to be about your skin, so hopefully you might get this one right. Question 4. Da-dum. During August of the year 2013, Valve released their very first skin case. Can you give me the name of the skin case?
Oh, no.
The very first one that
The
ever got
very
released.
first skin case that ever released.
That's right. It's
Do
actually
I
one of the
have-
more- I think you might, knowing you.
Do I have a skin from it?
I don't
Oh,
know.
man.
I haven't looked at your inventory in a long time.
Oh, no.
It's one of the very first. So think some of the most priciest skins on the market because they don't make these cases anymore.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the skins from the first skin case.
I'm gonna go ahead and give you 10 seconds starting now.
I Is it the Gamma? No, Gamma's not on the market. Is on the market still. You can still get
Beep
it
beep
dropped
beep.
Gamma
I'm gonna
case.
need your
It's
final
not.
answer right now.
I'm gonna have to pass. I have no idea.
The answer
I
is
Go
CS:GO
ahead.
weapon case.
It's the weapon case. Okay,
Wait, it's
that makes
weapon
sense.
case 1. Literally, that's the name of it.
I've
CS:GO
actually
weapon
never.
case.
I actually will say this out of just because for shame me. But I don't open cases. The only times I ever open cases is Christmas or the New Year's, and that's celebratory.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Everything I buy everything, or I trade it in a
Mm.
trade server. I'll just buy it.
Got it, got it, got it.
I don't like gambling, and if you know me for reasons which John knows, I'm very addicted to gambling in certain areas. So every time I can avoid gambling, if I can avoid gambling, I will avoid it like the plague. And so I don't open cases because I can just buy what I want.
Right.
But if it's not an option, aka, then I will gamble my absolute bank account dry. So
scary, man.
Yeah,
Call
so
him
I
madman
actually
for
am not too
something,
good.
my guy. All right. Question number 5. Let's keep this going. Ba-bum. CS:GO has their own matchmaking, and therefore they have their own different tiers to rank their players. How
Mhm.
many ranks are there in CS:GO?
Okay.
Go ahead, list them out for me.
Silver 1 through Elite Master is like
Let's go through them
6
all.
ranks? Is 6 ranks Silver 1, 2, 3, 4, Elite. Wait, Silver. Yeah, Silver 1, 2, 3, 4, Elite, Elite Master, Gold, Gold Nova, Gold 1, 2, 3, 4, and then MG, MG2, MG3, MGE, and then MGE. It's either DM. I think it's DMG after that. I don't think there's MGE. I don't think that's a thing. I actually don't play matchmaking much. DMG, and then I think Supreme is after DMG. No. Legendary Eagle is after DMG, and then Supreme, and then. I think there's one more rank and then Global Elite after that. I'm like pretty sure there's like one more rank and then Global Elite, but I can't remember like what that rank is.
I'm gonna ask you for your final answer in 10 seconds, starting.
Oh shit!
now.
I was supposed to count, right? Fuck. Well, I didn't count any of those. 6, 4, 1, 2, 3.
Beep beep beep.
10, 16.
That's your final answer there.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, you were wrong. It is 18.
God dang it! I didn't have enough. I didn't actually count while I was naming them off.
Right. So off the top of my head, Silver 1, 2, 3, 4, Silver Elite Masters. That makes the first 6. Gold Novas 1 through 3, and then Gold Nova Master. That's 4. Plus 1 is MG 1, 2, E. DMG, LEM, Supreme Master First Class, and then Global. So that's 18.
Okay, I forgot LEM. That's what I was forgetting. Yes, that's what I forgot.
All right, let's keep this moving. Question 6. I need you to name this AK skin for me. Here we go. Look inside of the quiz channel, please. Name for me this AK. You have 10 seconds starting now.
Is that a baggage claim?
No. You have 5 more seconds.
Honestly, I don't know what that skin is, but it reminds me of the baggage claim. But like the baggage claim has all those like literal bags on it, so I don't think it's the baggage.
Beep. Final answer.
Let's just go with it. Sure, why not? I don't really know.
The answer is AK-47 First Class.
Oh, dang it!
It is.
That's the same skin. It's the same
first
skin.
Class, baby.
Yes, that's the same skin. I just had one. I had one when I first started playing CS, but I named it the baggage claim.
I remember you telling me about this, and that's why I put it in the quiz.
Your AIDS. Wait, what? No.
I remember these things.
That's cheap, dude. I mixed it up with the name I gave it. Oh, that's
You cheated
messed up.
yourself.
Oh no.
All right, let's keep.
I'm failing this quiz so bad. Why can't you give me game knowledge questions?
All right, all
why are
right.
these the
Maybe you'll like this one. Maybe you'll like this one. Question 7. Bum. On the
I'm
map
a
train.
failure.
On the map train. There's an area called Pop Dog, right?
Yes, sir.
This is because there's crate there. There's crates on your left when you turn.
Yes.
On the crate, can you tell me its slogan?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question? You like kind of cut out for me in Discord.
No, you're good. So on the map train in CS:GO, there's an area called Pop Dog, right?
Yes.
It's called Pop Dog if you didn't know, because to the right when you drop down on the ladder, they're crates for soda pop called Pop Dog. On the box, there's a slogan. Can you tell me what that slogan is?
I could not. That is a piece of map trivia that I've literally never in my mind like ever thought about looking over there and reading something. So no, I could
man,
not.
I am destroying you with these questions.
Yes, dude. Like, I mean, you could ask me so many questions. Like, you could ask me like smokes, lineups, flash, anything, dude. I would have been like, I got this easy.
There's
Man's
the
out here
picture.
asking me.
If you don't believe me, there you go. The slogan is the dog that refreshes.
That is disgusting. That company deserves to go out of business. Alright.
Okay.
I would have gotten one question right. Like, I don't even remember, dude.
Me either. All right, let's go for this next one. Ah, dang, I doubt you'll know this one then. Question 8. So, due to the rise of VRs, Counter-Strike and Valve thought they should jump into, and they made a mode called Danger Zone. Can you tell me what is the top rank in Danger Zone?
Dude, do you actually think I've ever played Danger Zone before?
I don't know. It's just part of the quiz.
Have you ever played? Have you ever played Danger Zone before?
I have.
Did you know this the answer to this question before you made it?
I actually did. Yes.
God damn. I've never played Danger Zone before. I have
Alright.
actually zero time in Danger Zone. I
The
do not
answer
like
is,
most
the
battle
answer
royales.
is the Howling Alpha. That is the
Jesus
answer. the
Christ,
Howling
Valve.
Alpha.
What in the world are you doing?
All right. Hopefully you get these last two. Now these last two were made to be hard, but with how things are going, I really pray to God that you can figure these out. So
Bro, I might just retire after this quiz, dude. Clearly, I'm not good enough mentally to play CS. Clearly, I'm lacking the drive and obsession to play CS. It's been made clear to me.
all right, let's go to the map Mirage real quick. You should know this map like the back of your hand. Literally like the back of your hand. You should be able to play it in your sleep. So on the map Mirage,
Unfortunately.
on A site, there's a call out. It's called Ticket Booth. I'm going to show you the picture. Can you complete this sign for me? What's missing? Can you tell me?
Oh my god, dude.
This sign has a sentence in it. Can you tell me what it says?
Can I just drop the quiz now? Like, while we're at it? Like, I don't even want to answer these questions anymore. I was actually looking forward to this. One of my first line. Like, you asked some bullshit questions, dude.
The answer to this is the billet ticket sales, or billet le ticket sales in French.
I hope your professor marks you down for being a bully. I really do.
I made this one especially for you. All right, the last question is right here. Let's go to Inferno, your Instaban map near library.
Oh my god!
There's a sign to the right of library. I
have no idea what it says. I've never read it before. Just get it out of the way.
You might know what it is actually. I'm looking here for a number. What is the number that belongs in that red circle?
13. Let's go for it. That's a random answer.
The answer is
95.
95.
I just threw out a random number. I don't
The
know.
answer
Dude.
is 95. Unfortunately, man, you did not get perfect, and you did not.
No
get in the
shit, I
Hall
didn't
of
get
Fame.
perfect question, dude. I don't want to be in the hall from your dumbass quiz, dude. This quiz is toxic.
I told you that this quiz would be nonsensical, hardcore nerd.
Bro, like, okay, first of all, if you know these things and you're not a pro, you've wasted your life. I'm just letting you know
Don't
right
do
now.
that. Don't do that to me. Stop.
I'm just letting you know right now that that I know none of these things. And I got paid to play the game that you have 7,000 hours in. So I'm just gonna lord that over your head for now.
Stop! That hurts. That
So
hurts.
who's really won in the end?
Stop. All right, you guys. Thanks so much for listening to this quiz. We'll be right back, and we're gonna talk more about how COVID has affected the CS:GO scene in Madman's eyes, and some other things about esports that revolves around CS:GO R6 and things that we can relate to in the esports realm. Hang on, we'll be right back. Shut the hell up, dude.
Don't even know the chase. But you don't think we're perfect. There's just something wonderful when everything falls into place. Let me say, I see it in the little things that you're doing, so beautifully clueless. I get lost inside a
Welcome back to the
moment
Media
with
Things. We just finished our quiz where I got roasted, and now we're gonna go ahead
I
and talk
failed
about
miserably.
and now we're gonna go ahead and talk about COVID. So COVID has affected every single competitive scene across the map, whether that be esports, like actual sports, right, Olympic sports, casual sports, anything in person. And the esports scene is not, even though it's mostly online games, it's not separated from that. We have LAN tournaments, local area network is what that stands for. But in reality, what it really is just like an in-person gathering of people who want to compete in the game, people who are fans of the games, and we come to witness spectacles, tournaments, and stuff like that. Man, how has COVID affected your career in Counter Strike this past year or so?
Um, I mean, on one hand, you can say that I'm thriving because of the scene's like top tier decline has made it easier for um venturing further due to lack of competition. On
Mm-hmm.
the other hand, you could say it's crippled due to the fact due to the decline of competition and good practice. Um, I definitely think that if COVID never happened, uh, I don't think I'd be as high as I am ranked in the scene.
Right.
But at the same time, if COVID never happened, I think I'd be a better player.
Right, right,
Um,
right. Let's start from here then. Let's try and like break it down a little bit. So COVID, how's it affected like your team play, the scrims? How has it affected like the mentality of your team?
the scrims are terrible. I'm just gonna be
Terrible, huh?
real. The scrims, like they're either like we have practice partners now, and we've fixed a lot of the issues over the course of COVID, like over the last year.
Mm-hmm.
But initially, it was terrible, and it was like a two-hit combo, honestly, because it wasn't just like COVID that like hit CS. It was the release of Valorant, obviously,
Right, the
and
CS:GO
those
killer,
two
quote
things.
unquote.
Yeah, because I feel like if Valorant just released without COVID, I don't think it would have affected us that bad.
Mm-hmm.
But a big factor of CS that makes it stand out from literally every other esport on the planet, especially shooters, are the lands. Like our CS lands are a different beast in terms of like the fanaticism, the fan base, the fun that you can have at the venues, what you can and can't do. It
Mm-hmm.
really is different. And no, I've been to quite a few lands for quite a few different games. I enjoy being a
Mm-hmm.
spectator almost as much as I like being a competitor.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, like IEM Chicago is almost an annual thing, and I've gone to four of them.
Damn, a lot.
And so it's something I really, really, really love, and it's part of Counter Strike that drew a lot of fans to Counter Strike.
Mm-hmm.
And COVID completely murdered that concept.
Right.
There's no. I mean, even if though there are lands now, there are lands in the sense of they're bringing the competitors together. There's no viewership, right? So
Mm.
the players are playing in a bubble.
Uh, you cut out there.
So, oh, I'm sorry. The
No, you're
players
good.
are playing in a bubble. There's no crowds. There's no spectators, right? You still have to watch online, and that's killed a lot of the hype of CS. I feel like, and with the combination of that and Valorant, aka the CS killer, which is like, in all honesty, CS is still thriving as a game. It's
Right.
more, it has butchered strictly only the high level competitive CS market for North America.
Mm-hmm.
CS is still thriving worldwide as a top tier game. CS actually is doing better than it's ever done at any point in time in history on casual player base, mid level player base, and high level player base everywhere except for the United States and Canada. In the United
Hmm.
States and Canada, the player count drop off has only really happened at the highest level. So players that have the potential to go pro in Valorant and make a lot of money.
Right.
So, and that's for all ages. I'm not just talking about like only like tier one players. I'm talking about if you have potential and you feel like you have the drive to go pro in a shooter, and you live in the United States or Canada or
This
Mexico,
is this is prime time.
this is like then it's like you probably like then this is prime time to like put your foot in the ground and work hard to build yourself up. Mm-hmm.
The upper echelon of players have declined. Why? Because lands, and that's how their source of income is, right? And then the
Well,
other
I
one,
mean, I would say that their income's still stable because
the
their main
orgs.
source of income is actually their contracts with the orgs, right?
Right, right, right.
The orgs income, if you're not a top 20 team and you're in the North America, your org is probably pulled out of CS because
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
true.
financially stable for them. Now, if you're a top 20 org in CS and you probably stayed in CS because your team is able to make profits without lands. Team Liquid can fly their players over to Europe and have their players stay in a boot camp in Europe and play at the lands in Europe and make money for Liquid because they know their team has success and because they know their team has a fan base. But if you're a
Mm,
team that doesn't have that, you leave. Look at the best example was Chaos. Even though they left, like obviously Chaos pulled out of all esports, right?
right.
But Chaos's team in while they were a team in CS was arguably a top 4 team in North America at the time.
It's
They had
pretty
just
good.
won one of the biggest tournaments in North America. 2 weeks after that, they pulled out of CS.
Wow.
That's what I mean when I say that COVID did more damage than Valorant did to CS.
I think it was the
And
perfect storm, to be honest.
it really
Just the,
was. It really was. Like a North American Counter Strike was the only one that really got hit so badly by it. And that's also
right.
because North American Counter Strike doesn't have the same fanaticism that European or Asian Counter Strike does. It doesn't. Like I will say that right now, you cannot compare the obsession for Counter Strike in the European scene to the like nostalgic liking of Counter Strike in the North American scene. They're two
And
different
there you go.
beasts.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's a very good way to put it.
And so now, and it's also, and this is like, I'm not putting American culture down or anything. I'm American born and raised, but it's a part of our culture to just like the next hype thing, and the next hype thing right now is Valorant. I
Right.
personally find a lot of issues with Valorant, but I was definitely on that hype train at first. I played it a ton when it first came out.
Right.
I was
Same.
really looking
Same.
forward to it,
Heck, I still
but
play it a little bit here and there.
yeah, but my issues with it stem from the fact that it's very incomplete, and I can't see myself dedicating the time and the mental strain and stress of competing in a game that I feel is incomplete and the devs don't want to concede on issues that the community agrees on.
Hmm.
Like I felt like the community had to borderline chew its own leg off to get them to nerf the operator.
Right.
I feel like the community's been begging them to fix recoil patterns
All right.
and they refuse,
Then
right? Like
let's
it's
then let's establish this then, right?
mm-hmm.
Let's get your opinion on this. So, in the past, on these past couple of episodes that I've had, and I think this is pretty fitting as this is my finale
Yeah.
for the semester, right? We've talked about multiple times if you've been watching or listening along with us, to the viewers as well as long as men as alongside men. what makes an esport? And so a lot of the opinions I've heard so far is like you need viewership, number one, right? An esport needs to
You
be
have to be profitable.
right.
You
You
need
need some sort of spectatorship. You need to be a show, basically.
exactly. It has to
You
be
need to be a
entertaining. If
show.
it's not entertaining to watch, you get Overwatch.
Oh, wow, that was smooth. I like that. I like that. So you need some sort of spectatorship. It needs to be a spectator's esport, basically, right? Something that's enjoyable to
Exactly.
watch. The second one is, of course, that I agree with Ada here. You need a route to the top, right? You need
It can't be ambiguous.
right. You need to say, okay, this is T3, T2, T1, semi-pro, the top of the line tier one, or even like
Hmm.
you can have gate holders, right? So that would be what open, intermediate, all that good stuff.
Exactly.
Right.
Like
Or
I
in our case, Mythic League is how you get into FPL, right? The highest tier of pugs that we got
exactly.
available, right? Hmm.
There's a few more entryways in the FPL, but generally speaking, the best step ladder way would be through Mythic League to get into
Right.
North American FPL.
God bless Flomsoul for setting it up because it opened up a lot of pathways to some of the people we see right now at the top, or people who are
Exactly.
very close to getting to the top. It's really, really cool what he's done.
Ignoring the current state of North American FPL,
I mean,
basically, is a joke.
he did his job in getting people in. That's not his job to maintain
Exactly.
it.
Exactly.
All right. So this leads to my question. In your opinion, right? Give me 3 points. What do you think, as of the moment right now, the state we're in, COVID, different states around the world, right? People are like in their third wave of COVID, fifth wave of COVID, right?
Hmm.
I know Japan is entering another lockdown state because of people are graduating college, and all of a sudden now their rate for COVID is jumping up. That's unfortunate. Japan is actually one of like the smaller tier regions in CS, but they love like there's still a rather large fan base for CS in Japan. Um, in your opinion, what are 3 things like that would be the perfect storm to create a great tactical 5v5 that can kill CS, Valorant, R6? That could be like a top of the line game. What are 3 things you think that game really, really needs? Let's look for core
Um.
components here. Let's lean it out.
Okay. The first thing is, and this is when I say this right now, and yeah, I might get blasted on this in the comments, but
Do it from like a professional's perspective then.
I need devs to just ignore the hype around unique character hero champion shit in shooters. All right, it works in MOBAs. It's great in MOBAs, but the balancing of it in shooters is atrocious. The balancing of it in MOBAs is atrocious. The balancing of it in shooters is unbelievably hard. And I feel like that's
Mm-hmm.
something like Riot is learning is that it is borderline impossible to balance a tactical shooter with one shot headshots with characters that have superpowers, but no character has the same superpower. It ruins the game balance.
I think the problem there, I think this is a really good term that, oddly enough, from MOBAs we're going to use here now. Power scaling is the
Yeah,
biggest problem. League, Dota have both suffered tremendously from this. What do I mean by this? Characters that are made in the beginning of a game are creative, are fun, and are powerful. As time progresses, how many ideas can you come up with that aren't repetitive? And that's where
exactly.
power scaling comes into a problem. The
Another
characters
term
you
for
made
it
in the
is we
beginning.
called
Hmm.
the power creep.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, power creep. There you
Because
go.
it's like it keeps on encroaching on a higher and higher level of the same abilities.
Right, right.
Eventually,
And
the old players will be obsolete. You can't use
that's
them.
right. That's right. And that's so unfortunate. But that's just what happens when you have set characters, which is one of that's he's referring here to Valorant because in Counter-Strike everyone has the same toolkit. Let's call it a toolkit, yeah? Everyone
Hmm.
has the same toolkit, but in Valorant every single character that is on a team can't be replicated. Everyone has a separate toolkit. So that's number one. And you know what? I agree with you. So just to summarize your first point for a tactical shooter, number one that would thrive in today's current state of esports, just throw out the abilities. Have everyone have the same toolkit, right?
Yeah, I mean, look at it this way. Um, Call of Duty, and a lot of people are going to get mad because like I'm bringing up Call of Duty in competitive market, but Call of Duty has some of those absurd viewership from a competitive esport ever. We can all
Hmm.
agree on that.
That's right. Yeah.
Call of Duty attempted characters a few times, and while they did work in an interesting way, Call of Duty wasn't truly a tactical shooter. It had tactical game modes, but it's not truly a tactical shooter. It's technically an arena shooter.
Mm-hmm.
And two, most guns did not one-shot headshot.
Right.
So the abilities of characters didn't outweigh the core emphasis of the game of like aim and teamwork. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But in a game like Valorant or even Rainbow, a game that was very close to me in the beginning of my career as a professional, it is sometimes you feel like personal skill has nothing to do
With winning a fight.
with winning a fight.
Right.
It's just about hitting your character's Q at the right time. And then you as a player feel like you can't do anything. And while, yes, in Counter-Strike that does happen, every single person, all 10 people in that server have the ability to do that. So if you get flashed in Valorant, there's only so many characters that have flashes.
Right.
And you have to rely on those characters to use those flashes. And if they run out of flashes or if they die in the beginning of the round, your team has no flashes.
Right. Or smokes. Smokes is the big one.
Exactly. That's why the operator is so strong, because of the very like weird balancing of utility. While in Counter-Strike, if you get flashed off an angle and you die for it, or if you get pushed off or you lose a round because of it, that sucks for you in that moment, but everybody there still has that ability. So like even if you kill somebody in the beginning of the round, like someone gets opt top mid on Dust 2, there's still 8 more flashes on the team possible, depending on if someone brought an HE or not.
Right, right.
It doesn't affect if you are playing Valorant and you kill like Reyna in the beginning of the round, and she was the main like flash utility. Technically, it's blind.
It's not even a flash; it's a near sight.
Exactly. It's a near sight, right? But she's the main utility to like cut off vision.
Right.
Not like in not in the blinding sense, but like
it's like
in the blinding sense.
It's like engagement utility to tip the fight in your favor.
Exactly. Then you don't have that for your entry fraggers now.
Right.
When you're trying to enter a site, it's just
they don't have that toolkit, right?
If you're I forgot the guy's name, the old military dude that dropped Brimstone. If you snipe a Brimstone at the beginning of the round, if first of all, if your enemy team has a Brimstone, that's probably all of their smoke utility. Maybe a jet, but that's probably it. So like now they have no smokes to execute a site.
Now an op is crazy because it can hold an angle for days.
Exactly.
All right.
That doesn't happen because of the balance of not having characters.
That doesn't happen.
I'm not saying having characters makes games unbalanced. I'm saying having characters that are overly unique makes games hard to balance.
So do you think there could be a middle ground met here?
I definitely think there could be a middle ground.
Uh-huh.
I 100% believe there could be a middle ground. It's not impossible to make a character-based shooter, but the extremity that developers are going at it, they're trying to be so unique with every character. And this is, again, Riot is originally a MOBA game developer, so this is just part of their like identity, right, as a company. And so I get where they're coming from, but at the same time, I'm looking at it from an FPS player. I've been playing FPS my whole life, and I'm just like, this is going to be a nightmare.
Right.
I mean, it's the same reason
because I don't have a flash and he has a flash.
Exactly.
Right.
I quit R6 because the power creep was too much and it wasn't fun to play anymore. Right? Like that was the game that I dedicated almost 15,000 hours to wasn't fun to play anymore. And so
15.
I quit.
Oh my God.
I could not play R6 and have fun. It stopped being fun because the power creep was so extreme that it just was like, what is the point? What can I do to fight this? Nothing. Literally nothing. And the devs, even though the community would cry out about balancing certain operators, the devs would fight us tooth and nail, refusing and giving us bullshit explanations like, it's working in silver. Well, okay, yeah, so does running into a site with no utility in silver. But like, again, I'm not trying to like dismiss the fact that low-level players need balance too. That's fair. They are playing the game. They're a paying customer too. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying that use that if you use the mindset that it works for an average player, therefore it's okay to have as your mindset for everything in the game,
Mm-hmm.
then in a character-based game, given character-based game, the balancing will never work out in competitive.
All
It will
right.
never happen.
So let's pull back real quick. So what are your points so far? So the first point is try not to be overly
You
unique
are
with.
unique with your characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can have characters, you can have cool designs and stuff, maybe like some differentiating hitboxes. But
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, there should be some form of
Equality.
similarity and equality between all the characters, right?
Right.
I would
Right.
almost say that the character thing should be borderline more aesthetic than it is like competitive.
Oh, just
If that
remove
makes sense.
remove the superpowers completely.
Not even saying remove them. I'm saying almost to that point, right? So if you still want to have superpowers, like, hey, every character has flashes, but the flashes work uniquely depending on what the character
Oh, like one person can throw them farther because he has a grenade launcher, or one of them
exactly
pops a lot shorter because.
exactly.
Okay. All right.
So
Okay. I like that idea. That's really good. Okay. So what are the points we
so
have so far?
so
Viewership.
that was the big one. Like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really get to the second one, but the second one is now this is like one that's specifically catered to me, and I don't know if everyone will agree on this, but
You
and
sort
well,
of
my
made
third one
two
is
points there.
viewership.
You sort of made two there. Number one was about the characters. Try
Yeah,
and balance your characters appropriately to the point where it doesn't take away from the fact that it's a tactical 5v5. Everyone should have utility and you could spice things up a bit. That's fine. Number two should be the developers listen to the
yes,
professional
that
community.
was my second point.
If you're gonna make a game, you mentioned this, if you're gonna make a game, listen. Because if things work casually, that does not make it work professionally. And all casual
Exactly.
players look at professionals to make their plays in the first place, right? You make a
Is the
flashy play in the professional
meta,
scene. Mm-hmm.
the meta, right, is
Right.
always developed at the highest level and then
Correct. That's
trickles
exactly
down.
it. That's right.
It always trickles down. It's a like it always works like that.
Mm-hmm.
CS, it took us 2-3 years to get like of crying to get a change done, right? That's unacceptable. And with the operator nerf, I mean, people have been complaining about how strong the op was from like day 5 of Valorant, and it took damn near 8 months of the game's very short lifespan to get the op nerf. It's stuff like that where I'm like,
Remember, the original nerf wasn't even to the gun; it was the price.
exactly. The price doesn't like my thing's like the price.
Doesn't
People
change the usage for it,
exactly.
man.
Exactly. Like the price does not mean like if price is all about worth. It's like that's the same thing in like supply and demand, right? Like it's like okay, well like if we don't feel that it's worth that price, then we won't buy it. But if we feel like it's worth the price, then we won't care that you raised it, right? Like
We'll just
if
save
anything
up
that
to
just
buy it anyways.
exactly. That just meant that
Yeah.
the price before was a deal. Now this price is still fine. We're still going to buy it.
Mm. That's
It's
a
the same
different
thing with
way of
like the
looking at it.
PS5. It's the same with like the PS5 when it first came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
The price scalpers bought up the entire market share, but they were still able to sell them at twice the price. A being because people wanted the PS5, so they're gonna buy it anyway. With people wanted the operator because it was really strong, and they're gonna buy it anyway, even if you raise the price. That's the whole concept of price scalping.
All right. So that makes your second point. Can we get to your third point? What's your
Third
final
point
point?
is, and this is obviously the biggest one, and this is one that everyone's agreed on: entertainment value, viewership.
Mm.
Is this going to work? Will people watch this and enjoy it? Because if you can't, and this is probably like the one that you should be going into very early on, if you make Canada making a competitive shooter, will people like it? I mean, will people like watching it? And this is where I'd say that both CS and Valorant beat Rainbow. I love Rainbow. I love Rainbow to death. But Rainbow is very hard to watch
Yeah,
from the spectator's point of view.
I
It is
agree.
very confusing. And if you are not a hardcore Rainbow Six player,
You won't know what's
watching
going on, man.
you won't know what's going on.
Right.
People get in. See, this is how CS and Valorant work differently. People get into CS and Valorant because they watched pros play, thought it was awesome, and want to do that.
Right.
People get into Rainbow because their friends play it. And then they get more into Rainbow. Then they learn things. Then they start watching competitive. That's backwards. You can't have that. You want basically your competitive scene to be free advertising that makes you money. And then people go watch that and then buy your game, which makes you more money. It can't be the opposite. Because if people are buying the game and then getting into comp, that means that you're paying more money to maintain your comp scene than is actually making you money, which is an
That's
absurd thought.
intriguing.
Like,
That
it's
is
like,
intriguing.
so that's why I say, like, it has to be very easy to watch. And that's why tactical
Easy to
5v5s
watch.
that
Got
are
it.
easy to watch are important.
I
Like, I
think
mean,
that
shoot,
explains the whole search and destroy thing. Everyone knows what search and destroy is, right?
exactly.
For those who
Everyone
don't,
knows it.
on that off chance, it's
If you're
when
watching
you
this
have an
podcast,
objective. Yeah, if you're watching this podcast and you don't know, right? You're watching this podcast to learn about all this stuff. Search and destroy is a game mode, right? So there's certain game modes. There's deathmatch, there's team deathmatch, there's free for all. So those are self-explanatory. You kill each other, and whoever has the high score at the end of the timer wins. In tactical 5v5s, it's mostly search and destroy, right? You have an objective. It's either you're gonna plant your objective, right? And then the opposing side is there to stop you from planting the objective or defuse the objective. That's basically it. Go ahead, man.
and the reason, like, every single successful, including R6,
Tac 5v5.
every single TAC 5v5 uses that game mode. Even the tactical game mode of choice for Call of Duty is search and destroy and capture the flag. That is still a game mode.
Mm-hmm.
Capture the flag is like one of those things where it's like you learned in friggin' football practice in the 4th grade.
Right.
Like, that's like everybody knows it. So
it's like playing tag,
if it's
basically,
easy.
man.
But the reason why it's so hard to watch Rainbow is because A, the characters are vastly different.
Right. There's a lot of
B,
them too.
the maps are multi-storied buildings, massive buildings, and so you have to be able to see every single floor. And when you have multiple layered floors like that instead of one flat, like, surface with multiple smaller buildings and obstacles, it's harder for the spectator that's in charge of the camera to pan around and capture everything.
Right.
While if you're watching CS:GO, if you go to the skybox, you can see what every character is doing at any given point.
Right.
If you go into Valorant, you can go to the skybox and see what every character is doing at any given point. You can flip through the characters, and they're all on the same or slightly elevated levels. But if you go to Rainbow, you'll have a person in the basement, a person in the garage, a person in the attic, right? Like, and it's very hard to grasp what's going on unless you have a deep understanding of the game.
All right.
That doesn't happen in other games. It needs to be easy to watch.
Let's go ahead and let's summarize everything we got here. So what's your point number 1?
Is that if you're going to make a character-based game, like, subjectively speaking, I'd rather you just not. But objectively speaking, if you do, don't make the character abilities vastly different. Make them all have the same abilities, but the utility of how they work be different based on who the character is.
All right. Point 2.
Point 2 would be listen to the community. Both the professional and the lower level community. Gauge them. See what's better. See what's right. Test it. Watch how things perform on the professional level. If you're not paying attention to your own competitive esport and the statistics from it, that's a problem. So pay attention to the community. Listen. Be a developer that cares about your competitive platform.
All right. And then number 3.
Number 3 is, like I said, it has to be easy to watch, easy on the viewer. Something that I could put my parents on watching and they could have a general idea of what's happening if I explained a few key points. Something that simple to watch.
And there we go. There you have it. We are at the end of the show here. Thank you so much to Madman for joining me. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for giving us your knowledge. Thank you to you guys, the viewers and listeners. I appreciate you guys being with me for the last 4 episodes, pilot until now. Thank you so much to Ann for helping me edit and teaching me how to edit these podcasts. Thank you to Catherine for giving me these emotes that you see pop up on screen. Any last comments here, Madman? You could shout yourself out, shout out your team, say a couple last words to the youngins who want to, get out there.
Well, I mean, no point in shouting myself out right now because we're not competing in the next season.
Oh.
But no, it's more of a break thing than anything.
Mm-hmm.
But what I would like to say is that for all the people out there that want to go pro, I mean, I wish you the best of luck. Like, I really do. I think that we need more professional esports athletes that are at the top level from any game, from any area. We need it to blow up even more than it already has. It is a fantastic area of expertise that desires a lot of love and adoration from the people working in it and from the fans of it. And so
Mm-hmm.
I would always welcome more people. And again, like if you want to get into professional esports, then going pro is not the only avenue. There are so many different like jobs that we need covered. We need like what we were just talking about, video editors. We need people that have deep knowledge of the game. We need coaches.
We
We
need
need
people who know
casters.
the game enough to be a good spectator. For the love of God, give us
Exactly.
some people who know the game so they can make spectating nicer, please.
Please, like I said, like there are so many avenues that you can go to make esports a better, what is the word,
Whole collection,
like a
system,
better system. Yeah, a better system than what it is now.
ecosystem, maybe.
Not quite. Market, there we go. Market, that was the word I
Mm.
was looking for.
Hmm.
Better market than what it is now, because right now it's thriving, but it can be so much more than what it is. If you love a game but you're not the greatest mechanically, or you're not the greatest in decision making, you're not good under pressure, that doesn't mean you can't go be a professional in the game that you love.
That's right.
So
There's
go out
more
there.
than enough jobs for you to cover. And that's one of the beautiful things about having different medias. Thank you so
Exactly.
much for listening to the Media Things. My name is John. Thank you so much for standing with me. Until next time, stay safe, stay blessed. Thank you.